This is your round one recap / round two preview. I guess to make it sound better, we're going to call it the Final Four. On a Sunday morning, extremely drunk, extremely high at the moment, in a very truthful mood at 2:37 a.m. Bundy here and you there. And I almost dropped my papers. Now, this round one went pretty much like I expected it to go. Or let me not use the word expected. Let me say how I wanted it to go. Let's go over those scores. You had Nida Khalid losing 52-105 to Ewok Rape. Eric defeating Pedro. By a very large margin. And the reason why I'm happy about this is because Pedro's team really did skate by, like, with the bare minimum. I don't think we've ever had a team. I'll dig into the papers. I'm not in a mood to really dig into the papers that far back to see just how undeserving Pedro was of having this first round position. But his team showed their inferiority. 19 points from Carson Wentz, 16 from Devontae Freeman, and 10 points from Cooper Kupp. Eric on the other side got 27 points from Deshaun Watson, 18 points from his Pittsburgh defense, and 16 points, 2 touchdowns by Allen Robinson II. Now, I love that this happens because Pedro's team, of course, didn't deserve to be here, and Eric's team was just better. I knew Eric's team had better opportunities, better matchups, and the right team won. And it's always good when the right team wins. But we'll get to Eric's second round matchup in just a second. On the other side, you had Dad Bod defeating Rolo Thomasy 141-110, 39 points from Drew Brees. I'm going to do something that I've never done on the recap. And I'm only doing this because I want to get under Paul's skin in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I can really get under his skin, but I think I can, superficially, I think I can get under there. I'm going to count till 39, but it's really just an excuse to smoke more weed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm counting in my head. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I could go even faster and you still wouldn't get to fucking 39. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 points in your fucking rectum, you piece of shit. I told you not to do this, but no one listens to Bundy. Paul still, says, I didn't know. This is Paul's actual voice when he explains that classic trait. I didn't know before when I made the decision. I looked, but I wasn't like totally sure. It's like he's in the middle of a car crash, and he wasn't sure, like he wasn't sure if his fucking if his signal was on. He was just like, I don't know. He just like kind of came out of nowhere, and it's like it's. Like he's shocked, like a deer in fucking headlights. It's like, I didn't know he had Michael Thomas. 39 points on your head top. Fucking 39 points. If Jay would have had anyone else, my assumption, I'll check into the player pool right now. I mean, my assumption. And, I told this to Jay when we were at the bar last week. And I was like, well, I guess you would have picked Jimmy Garoppolo. I guess if you would have had a quarterback option. I don't remember what Jay's answer was at the moment. But Jimmy Garoppolo had a pretty good game. He just destroyed Paul, man. And this is exactly what I wanted to happen. I wanted Paul to wake up to the fact that he did this. You know, you guys remember that Ron Isley song with R. Kelly? I think it was Contagious, after R. Kelly had slept with Ron Isley's girl, and then they had that whole thing where Ron Isley like got him in the middle of the desert, and he was like grabbing him by his jacket lapel, and he was just like, I did this to you, like right before they fucking tried to kill him or whatever. Like, that's what Jay did to Paul. It's like, I did this to you, you know. It's sad that we're doing fantasy all these years and we don't have people who thoroughly check, you know, just right before hitting that confirmation button. But, you know, nepotism is a motherfucker, you know, like fantasy nepotism, I guess, in this case. You know, they're not related to each other, but they went to the same school, so that means they share bodily fluids. So 141 to 110, Rollo Tomassi falls short. He is eliminated. Nida Kali is eliminated, and now we are down to the final four. As I said, I'm in a very truthful mood, and you'll have to excuse me because I need more E&J. I'm in too truthful a mood to bullshit you this glorious morning. Here's what I think is going to happen. I'll start with the most competitive game, okay? You have Jay going up against Ed, right? You have the 5-7-1 dad bod going up against the 9-4, the Black Cat, who is projected to get 95 points, and Dadbot is projected to get 82. Ed's weakness is Odell Beckham Jr. You know, since his Week 7 bye, Odell Beckham Jr. has only amassed one touchdown and 43 points. He's pathetic. Most of Ed's wide receiver core has been pathetic. He has, hold on just a second. He has Keenan Allen going up against the Minnesota defense, who is the 24th ranked defense against passers, and OBJ is going up against Arizona, who is 27th ranked. So his weak wide receiving core has decent matchups. They do. But you just have to imagine that this is just going to be business as usual. He also has Leonard Fournette going out there against the Oakland Raiders, who are 24th against rushers. And he's got tough matchups with Russell Wilson against the Carolina Panthers and Alvin Kamara against the Colts in the Monday night game. On the other side, you have Russell Wilson, you know, since week 11, which was, let me see if week 11 was this bye. Give me 1 second. Let me take a sip of my Inge. Yes, since week 11, which was his bye, he has only scored a total of 34 points, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and 1 fumble. Ed would be very interested to know one quarterback who is kind of outdoing Russell Wilson since that week 11 bye, and that is Tom Brady, who is going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are the 24th ranked team against quarterbacks. Tom Brady has he's been putting up better stats than Russell Wilson since that bye. Let's see how much he's I don't have his grand total here, but since week 11 he scored 8, 11, 24, and 10. That would be what? 24 and 10, that'd be 34. Then 44. then 45, and then 53. I think that's about 53 points if my drunk or high brain can add that up correctly. Tom Brady's been the stronger player. He's just thrown 2 interceptions and 0 fumbles. So he's got less turnovers than Russell Wilson. This is something for Ed to consider. This is something that I like to bring up just hours before. Something to sort of rattle around in Ed's skull. This is legit. This is legitimate. This is Tom Brady against a team who I think got their first victory last week or 2 weeks ago. The Bengals got their first victory. Tom Brady could potentially score 40 points. See, this is what you do, right? This is what, not Ed in particular, but this is what you do when you have 2 quarterbacks. This is how you fuck yourself over. This is how you end up losing by 7 points. And had you put in the other quarterback, you would have won by 14. Like that, this is how you damn yourself. This is the other half of the Paul trade that is, that helped Paul, I would say at least psychologically, just fucking, start Breeze and start Lamar Jackson, who is probably going to be the MVP. Start Lamar Jackson, not even thinking about it, and, fuck Breeze. And, this is what's going to haunt Ed possibly if he falls short to Jay, who has Drew Brees going out there on a Monday night. Listen, I know Ed's fantasy brain a lot better than some of your other fantasy brains. And I know that, again, from a psychological standpoint, that fucks with Ed. That really fucks with Ed. That when it is all said and done, yes, he has Ed does have someone going out there on Monday night, but the advantage goes to Jay, having Breeze and having Michael Thomas at 8:15 up against the Colts. Ed has Alvin Kamara. So, Nick Chubb up against the 21st ranked defense against the run in Arizona. You've got Aaron Jones going up against the 17th ranked team against the run in the Chicago Bears. And, of course, you've got DeAndre Hopkins against Tennessee. He could fucking just starch them. At the moment, even still, at 2:50 a.m., there's no defense inserted into Jay's lineup. No defense and no flex. My assumption is that Jay would probably be playing a Michael Gallup at 425 against the Rams, unless he's going to pluck somebody out from the player pool. I don't really see any strong plays. Well, there is A.J. Brown, who's kind of a monster for the Tennessee Titans. He could put him into the flex position. But, the Jets played against the Baltimore Ravens, scoring just, 2 points this Thursday. So Jay doesn't even have a defense at this point. I'm not quite sure why he doesn't. This is when you can really fuck with people. I mean, if I was Ed at this point, let's see Ed's bench for a second. If I was Ed, let me take another sip of my edge. If I was Ed, I would drop this piece of shit over here, this Zach Pascal, and what I don't know what the limits of keeping. I'm pretty sure Ed can load up his team with a couple defenses. I would pick up another defense, like a good matchup, and I would have just picked them up by now. You see, that's the difference between the people who occasionally win and the people who are dominant. And when I mean dominant, I mean T-Body. I would definitely be petty enough to add another defense, just the best possible matchup, because Jay is not showing me any respect by picking up a team. But of course, Ed isn't me. So the way I can't really see how this matchup fares out. They're pretty evenly matched up. Of course, I would not be surprised if Jay just rapes Ed and makes it to the fucking chip. Thanks to Paul, of course. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Ed failing when it counts wouldn't surprise me at all. they're pretty evenly matched up. I don't think this, the record doesn't fool me at all. 9-4, 5-7, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Jay has just maybe around 10 to 15 points. I see Jay ended the season with 1185 and Ed ended with 1176. So not many points, more for Jay this year, but he has outscored Ed. So they're pretty evenly matched up. That could go either way. Now let's move on to the matchup that I'm pretty certain how it is going to end, and I will pretty much show you how it's going to end. I will perform it for you. It's going to go a little something like this. Every human being gets hungry sometimes, right? Like you get hungry, you want to eat. Maybe it's been a few hours since your last meal and you get pretty starving, and you'll eat anything in sight. In my opinion, at 1 o'clock later today, Andy's going to get hungry. He's going to point at Eric. And he's going to say, you. And Eric's going to say, Eric's going to look around. He's going to point at the rest of us. He's going to point at Joe. He's going to point at Hensel. He's going to point at me, at Orlando. We're just going to look at each other like, dude, we're worthless. We're less than nothing. We're subhumans. And we're just, we don't exist right now. And Andy's going to like clarify it and just like focus his eyesight on Eric and said, no. I definitely meant you. And he thrusts his fucking index finger forward like, you motherfucker. And Eric looks around and Eric takes like a really deep gulp, and then Andy just eats him. Andy just decides he's food. Andy's going to destroy Eric today. That's my opinion. My opinion is that Eric is going to be food. That is Eric's challenge for today, to prove me wrong, because I do not believe that Eric's team is going to beat Andy's team. Andy's team is just loaded with phenomenal matchups, all across the board. And this is I'm just look. This is papers. This is the papers talking, man. This is a huge gap. I'm not even gonna go. Andy was obviously the highest scoring team in the league. This is partly why I'm drinking. It's partly why I'm drinking, because Andy's having such a good season. That's partly why I'm drinking. Andy is he's driving me to drink and to smoke. I'm not even going to go into the difference of the points between Eric and Andy. I would say that for Eric to have any sort of a chance, this is a pretty simple observation. This isn't Matthew Berry analysis. Eric's going to need Saquon Barkley to ball. He's just going to need Saquon to fucking ball. That's what it's going to take. Saquon Barkley, since their bye in week 11, I believe. Let's confirm that. Ooh. Sorry guys, I'm just a little slower when I'm high and drunk. Drunk and high at the same time, drinking champagne on an airplane. Since week 11, Saquon Barkley has just, he's only totaled 208 yards rushing, 34 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, and 22 points. 22 points. This coming from a guy who week 1 scored 13 in week 1 and 18 week 2. At week 12, week 13, week 14, the nigga's got 22 points. He's been pathetic. He's been pretty pathetic. It's a miracle that Eric's made it this far with his, with his strongest player not performing well. He's going to need him to ball. And, and that's because Eric's team is just, everything is in the red. Now, I understand that matchups don't determine results. It doesn't guarantee anything. But Deshaun Watson, going against the 14th ranked defense against passers in the Tennessee Titans. Saquon Barkley's got a great matchup Shout out to Tony the Tiger. He's got a great matchup going up against the Dolphins. Melvin Gordon against the 10th ranked team in the Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings, and just Reds all across the board. You got Allen Robinson against Green Bay, who's number 10. He's got a decent matchup with Atlanta again. George Kittle, who last week I believe went against the Saints and did his thing as I thought he would, and George Kittle again in another Western shootout with the Atlanta Falcons, who are the 19th ranked team against the tight end position. Eric's just going to need Saquon Barkley to ball, man. He's going to need Saquon Barkley to just get a ridiculous amount of points. And when I say ridiculous, I mean like maybe 26, 27 points, man. Like he's just got to outdo what he's done over the last few weeks in order for him to have any shot at all. Because, quite frankly, like all you're just going to hear is just Andy just like, eating with his mouth open all Sunday. Surprisingly, Andy has decided to start Ryan Tannehill against Houston. Ryan Tannehill, who since the bye in Week 11 also has gotten 32 points against the Jaguars in Week 12, 13 points against the Colts in Week 13, and Week 14 just last week against the Oakland Raiders. He got a 26. That's a very big risk for Andy to trust Ryan Tannehill, but I guess he's not interested in Josh Allen against the Pittsburgh defense for the 8 o'clock Sunday night game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. He doesn't trust that, and I guess I wouldn't trust it either. Andy also has Jimmy Garoppolo on his bench, so maybe Andy throws in Jimmy Garoppolo, who is projected to get 17, and Ryan Tannehill is projected to get 18. But look, Houston is 27th against quarterbacks. He's got Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey has, out of his position players, has the worst matchup in the Seattle Seahawks, in the 15th ranked team. Everything else is like 22, 32, 31, 25, 25. It's just the probability of Eric winning is just, it's just not likely. I was always fucking terrible at math. Math was never my fucking thing, but this is just simple arithmetic, folks. This is just fucking simple. This is just Andy doing what Andy's done all year against a team that hasn't, who's a step above Pedro, of course. Eric's team isn't, it's not Pedro level. Eric ended let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eric ended 6th in scoring with 1139. And, Andy's got 1404, just averaging, averaging triple digits every week. It's, Eric it's just Andy's going to eat, dude. Andy te va a comer. Ya. Si tú quieres que yo te lo puedo traducir en español. Andy te va a comer. Andy tiene hambre y te va a comer. Ya. Yeah, it's over. Just look, that's it, man. Look, like I said, I'm in too truthful a mood. That's it. I don't have to decorate this. This doesn't have to be decorated. He's food. Okay? Ed makes it next week. Ed's a much better, a much stronger team than Eric's team. Jay is he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I would both give them a better chance than Eric. And, this is why I played the Rocky music at the beginning, man. This is what the Final Four is all about, man. It's all about, adversity. It's all about silencing critics. Let's see if Eric can get it done. But, until then, I think Andy is gonna Andy's gonna find that Eric's carcass is gonna be very satiating. He's just gonna fucking eat you. He's just gonna look at you. He's just gonna be like, "Oh, you're food now. you're just food now." And that's it, man. That's how it's gonna go. Okay. Paul, Part of the reason why I decided to do this recap Sunday morning is because, I feel that if I did it on Thursday, the hate wouldn't carry over. You have to be reminded of your failure. You have to be reminded of your failure. I'm not saying that mathematically, if you would have made that trade, that you would have indeed lost and it's because of Brees mathematically, that's not necessarily the case, but the fact that Jay's made it this far and that he's been this strong, he owes that to you, so congratulations, I guess. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. So, as always, may your quarterbacks get hurt before they leave the locker room. May your running backs pull their hamstrings. And may your... Hold on. And may your wide receivers get arrested for marijuana possession. Go fuck yourselves. Andy's gonna eat you, Eric. Eat you. Go fuck yourselves.